Hello everybody, my name's Fred, I am the Crypto Cornishman, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a masterclass on a bit of programming. There'll be a little utility that I think you'll find quite useful. I certainly do. The thing we're going to program today is BitBong. It's a timer, an alarm for cryptocurrencies. So it's one that I use every single day. I find it very, very useful. We'll program it up in Visual Basic, so it should be nice and easy for a lot of you to understand. The beginning part of it, the main crux of the program, I will copy into the description so that you can actually start with it. I'm assuming that you've already got Microsoft Visual Studio downloaded and installed. And we will be using the Binance exchange today. We're only going to be picking out the ticker information for the particular cryptocurrencies. But it's nice and easy. We don't need an API key or a secret key at this stage, although I have got that in the variables. The reason being we will be using that later on as we expand on this program. But at the moment today, we'll be doing certain events on whether the cryptocurrency is either going to a point which is higher or lower. So let's get started. As you can see, I've now got my glasses on so I can see the screen. The first thing we want to do is run Visual Studio. Now, when we run Visual Studio, we'll see a screen very similar to this. What would you like to do? I've already got mine there, but in this particular case, you'll be going create a new project. You'll then find Windows Form app. We want the Net framework. We're going to be using the Net framework on here in Visual Basic. And click next. There's a whole list of different ones here, and you can choose up here what you're going to be programming in and how you're going to be it's going to be running for Windows in this case, and what type of program that you're actually going to be doing. Once you go on to next, so click on that and next, we've got here a directory, a location of where we want our video to be. So let me find my one. Once you've selected the folder, you can put the name of the program in this case, BitBong. Okay, we're using the Net Framework 4.7.2. If you haven't already got that on your system, then I would ask you to go to the Microsoft site and download it. The only reason being, my program is probably compatible with other versions of the Net Framework, but if you do find any problems, download the 4.7.2 and run that as the main framework for it, and then click Create. Once you've clicked Create, you will see a blank screen with public class form 1 on it, end class, and you'll see the form load information which is here. I've got a little bit more in here. This is the outline of what I'm going to be using for the program to work. Although this isn't the main program, this is the parts of the program, the functions to be able to contact Binance and be able to read information backwards and forwards from Binance, in this case the ticker information, plus a little bit of inbuilt stuff here on the hash string to be able to get the hashes. So all of this here will be down in the description, so you can just copy and paste it in there. Up here we've got a couple of variables. We've got the API key and secret key, which at the moment we won't be using, certainly on this program. Make sure if you have got an API and secret key and you put it in there, that you keep it totally secret. Okay, if someone's got the API and secret key of yours, they can go into Binance and or any other exchange if you've got the API keys shown on them, and mess around with your crypto, take your crypto. So be very careful to keep the API and secret keys completely secret. We've also got a timestamp variable here, which picks up the time in milliseconds as it is right now, and a small one, which is the hash key, which is just a variable showing a hash string which will be encrypted, which shows the timestamp and the secret key. This isn't going to be used properly at the moment, although the program will use it. It'll have just a blank secret key because we've got nothing in there at the moment, but at a later stage we'll be utilizing this properly. So let's get on to the first thing, and that's going to be looking at our screens. If you click up here, we can actually go into the program. This is the computer program behind the screen that we actually see, and if we click on form 1 here, this form will actually be what we'll see on the screen when the program runs. So the first thing I want to do, it says form 1 at the top, so we're going to change the text here, not the name. The name is up here. We're going to keep the name the same, but we are going to change in these properties here the text. So we're just going to call that bit bong. Okay, and now we've got bit bong shown up on our on the screen. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is fill this in with the information we need to be able to use the program. This is our user interface. So the first thing we want to do is put a couple of things on here so that we can interact with it. I'm going to put a label. I've clicked a label on my toolbox. If you can't see the toolbox, you should be able to go up. I think it's view and then toolbox here will show the toolbox. These are the individual things that we can use on a screen to be able to interact with. So the first thing is just a label, and we'll put it up there, and we can go down to properties here, and this gives us all the properties, the font properties and access properties, the border style, the background color, etc. of the label that we're going to do. Find text, and we're going to change that text there, and we're going to put in pair to monitor. Okay, press enter. We've now got pair to monitor written up there. We want a little drop down. We don't want to have to write down the pairs every time, so let's bring that in a little bit more here. So what I'm going to do is find a drop down which will be used for combo box. Would be nice, so we'll use that and we'll drag it out to shape, and we'll put it somewhere there. This combo box will can hold lots of bits of information in what's called a collection. So we're not going to change the name of it again. We are going to go into items. It's got collection here. So let's go in here and we'll put in some of the pairs that we will be wanting to monitor. So Bitcoin, USDT, US Tether. Then we'll go ETH, US Tether. And then we might want Bitcoin, ETH, let's put ETH, BTC. Let's put a couple of other ones that we might want to do. SHIB, again USDT in this case. We could put Doge. If we've got SHIB, we may as well have Doge. Celo, USDT. Solana, and whichever ones you want. I think that's enough to get started at the moment. So okay, and that's now in a collection. If we run this, we'll be able to see. Hopefully I should be able to do this for you on screen. Here we go. And when we run this, by pressing the start up there, we can see that the program has started. Beside pair to monitor, we can now click down and we can pick up any one of these items that we put in the collection. Okay, it's a nice easy way of being able to use collection items. So let's close that now and we will carry on. Once we've got pairs to monitor, the next thing is we want to actually bring up what the pair is going to show. So if we put another label down here, and we'll have it this sort of size, I think. If we go into the text down here, we should be able to, sorry, not the text, the properties, find the font, and we're going to increase the size of the font here. We want it a little bit bigger and bold. So, okay, that looks good. So this is going to be the value. So the next thing we want to do is actually make that work so that when we pick up our individual item, let's start this again. When we pick up our pair, which we want to monitor, we want here the ticker information to actually show. So let's see if we can do that. So double click anywhere in the, oh, actually we don't want to double click anywhere. We want to double click in the combo box here. We want to be able to use this combo box for getting our information. So the first thing we want to do is get our ticker. Let's put a variable in here. Dim ticker 1 equals get Binance. The information we've got to give to this Binance one here is the URL, the API URL, to be able to use the API. The API being a connection between us and Binance, the program which Binance runs. So the API is just a program that allows us to talk to each other. So the URL is ticker and then price, because that's what we want, a question mark afterwards, and symbol equals, and then we want our combo box. So combo box 1.txt. So that should get us the details of the, let's press enter there. That would get us the ticker price. The only problem is the combo box. If we go back to here and start it, start the program up again, we'll see that in the combo box we've got a slash between the pairs, okay, between the coin pair and the currency pair. This slash here is going to create a bit of a problem because that slash is used for lots of other things, including directory symbols. So we need to replace that somehow. We can't have the slash symbol on there. So what we're going to do is close that again. We'll go back into here. And of course, this is the combo box selected change. This is if the text in our combo box changes. So this is our combo box. If we click down and change symbols, this is the first bit of code that's going to be used. So at the end of this, I'm going to put replace, because we want to replace some of the characters which are in here, in this case the /, and we want it with nothing. So dim ticker 1 now is going to be get from Binance the ticker price, the question mark afterwards. This is the query being the symbol equals what's in our combo box, the text that's in our combo box, but also replace the /. Okay, and what we can do here just very quickly is put in message box price is, and ticker 1. So let's have a look and see what ticker 1 actually brings back, because it isn't quite what you expect. So we'll do start. Here is our program. We will pick Doge in this case. Up comes Doge, and we come up with a whole string here. The string is price is symbol Doge USD. You see we haven't got the slash in there, price, and then it gives us the price. So this is the information that's come back from the API as soon as, or come back from Binance when we've asked it for the ticker price. So we need to do a little bit of messing around just to be able to get this price here. So how are we going to do that? Well, the best idea is to actually sort out the ticker prices, the ticker price. So what I'm going to do is in here, I'm going to put in sort ticker open slash. So we're going to have another function here which will encompass the get Binance. Okay, so sort ticker and then go to the end, and we'll close that. We're going to use a new one rather than changing this, a new function rather than adding more information to this one, because at a later stage we'll be using it quite a lot. So let's start off with public function. We're going to create our function now. The function is going to be sort ticker. Whoops. And we're going to have information coming to it. We're going to ST for sort ticker, and then text, which is going to be the text which is going to be sent to this public function from inside these brackets here and at the end. We're going to tell it that that's as a string, because it's going to be a string of characters. We know that because when we got the information back from the API, it said price equals symbol equals Doge UST, price equals, so it was a string of characters that we got. And what we want to send back is a nice little decimal character, a decimal number. Okay, so this is going to be our function. We're going to put end function just to keep, or functions even, just to keep Visual Studio happy, so that we won't get all these red marks in here. Okay, now in our sort ticker, we actually want to sort out the information which is given to us. The information at the moment, if we get this message box here, I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to take away price equals. We're just going to have the name of the variable, and the name of the variable in this case is st text. Okay, I'm going to run this again, so we'll start it and run it, and it comes out here. This time we're going to do a different one. We're going to use sol, and the information that's come back from the API is a squirrely bracket symbol sol USDT. Remember, there isn't a slash there. Comma, price, colon, and then the price. So we want to get rid of a few things. We want to get rid of the words symbol. We want to get rid of the words sol UST. We already know that information. We've given it to the API. We don't need it back again. We need to get rid of the comma, the word price, the colon here. We want to get rid of these open and close quotes and the swirly bracket at the end. So we want to get rid of quite a few things inside this function sort ticker. So let's get on with it. The first thing we want to do is just replace, just similar to what we did before. So we'll choose our st text equals st text. We'll replace, and we may as well start off with the double quotes. So we want double quotes in there, and we want to change those for single quotes. This is actually, these quotes outside here, okay, are what we're searching for, anything inside those quotes, and we're looking for double quotes. So we're going to change them for nothing, in effect. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is exactly the same again. stText equals stText dot replace. This time we're going to get the information from our combo box, which is called combo box 1. It's the text information that we want, not the background color or anything like that. And we're going to replace on there this time the forward slash, because we know the forward slash is a problem. And we're going to change it with nothing at all. Okay. Believe that is correct. Let's have a look. Replace forward slash. Actually, no, that's not correct. I've got to put in that. Yep, that's correct. The next thing is the same again. stText equals stText, and this time we'll replace a couple of the words. So swirly bracket open, and then symbol, and if I remember rightly it was a colon and then comma price, because we haven't got the open and close quotes, and we'll replace that with nothing. That's correct. Not sure about this one. What have we got here? Replace combo box. Yeah, I think that's correct. The next one we want to do, last one really, is stText equals stText dot replace. Now, all of this programming will be going into in more detail. So there's probably lots that you don't understand, but we will be coming back to this and doing more programming. You'll learn your programming, your Visual Basic, as we go along. But at the moment, if you don't understand this, just copy what I'm doing, and it'll all start to come to light. Okay, you'll start to understand it. The next thing we've now got rid of all of our bits there. If we have a look at our message box, copy that and paste that down here. And let's have a look at what stText actually looks like, shall we? We have got to do a return, so we'll return 0, just so that it's got something to return. Let's start our thing off. Oh, there's build errors. stText is not declared. Why is it not declared? That's because I've typed it wrong. Those of you taking note would have noticed that. So we're running it. This time we'll pick a different one. We'll do ETH BTC, and now we've just got the number which has come back. The problem is this number is actually a string of characters. It's still text. It's not a number as such. So we will need to mess with it a little bit. And that's quite easy, because in our return down here, we're just going to put in val for value. Oops. Val, and then stText. Close that. Okay, so we've now got a little function here that we can call with any information inside. It'll take out any quotes. It'll replace any forward slashes. It'll take out any words or this string of characters here, which will be symbol and price. Of course, remember, some of this has already been taken out, so it makes it nice and easy for us. And it'll take out the squirrely bracket at the back. It'll then turn that to a number. We don't need this message box anymore here, so we can get rid of that, and it'll return the information back to here. In other words, giving us ticker 1. This is our variable ticker 1 here. So let's run this now and see what we get. The program here, this time we'll do ETH/USDT, and the price is 1707.73. We've now got our price. We've got the full ticker information. So we'll close this. Instead of having it in the message box here, what we're going to do is we'll get rid of this message box completely. We don't need it. And we're going to put this straight into our ticker information here. So let's go up here and we're going to change the name of this. I'm going to change the name of it to form ticker. It's an interactive part of the form. Okay, so I like to put form first of all so that I know it's something dealing with the screen, and of course it's the ticker that we're calling it. So form ticker in there. Let's go back to here, and we will, instead of having a variable there, we'll go form ticker dot text, because it's the text that we're changing. And now if we run this, there's our thing. We'll change it to BTC this time, and the ticker price comes up. If we change this to Celo, the Celo price comes up. If we change it to Sol, the Sol price comes up. So it's a nice, easy way of being able to get information directly from the ticker information directly from Binance and just display it on the screen. Let's close that. But we're not just getting information from the screen. The whole idea of this is we're creating an alarm system. So I think it's about time we actually did some alarm stuff. Now, the first thing we notice here is if we change the things in the box, the information on our form ticker label will change. But then it won't change again until we decide to change our selection. Let me show you. The way this works is if I change this to Bitcoin, it'll bring up the Bitcoin ticker. But you'll see the Bitcoin ticker isn't changing. There's nothing changing on it. So I would need to click it again for it to actually change the value. And as you can see, the values are changing quite a lot every time I click on it. Well, it's no good just having it static. We want that to be able to move all the time. And the way that we're going to do this is create a timer. Okay, so we're going to go back to our form. This is where we put our information. I'll tell you what we are going to do also actually is that label, we're going to change the text of it to, I'm just going to put a dash symbol. We don't want it saying label 2, which looks a little bit silly. But what we are going to do here is we're going to put a timer on here, and we're going to keep picking up that ticker information. So click on timer, drag it up into our box. It'll actually show underneath our box down here. All right. We double click into there. We're actually in the timer information here. We can go back to here and see it. We get information about it here on the properties, but if we double click it, we can go in and change the program of whatever happens when that timer ticks. Okay. Actually, let's go back to the form one. We have got the timer ticking quite fast. So this is 100 times in a, a tenth of a second. So we're going to change that to 1 second. We don't need it any quicker than that. We also have a thing with the Binance API is it doesn't want too many calls to it. We've got so many people around the world all trying to call and interact with Binance. If we do it too much, but the Binance API will say that enough is enough. We're not going to talk to you anymore. We're going to let everybody else have a go. All right. So what we'll do here is we've changed it so that 1,000 is now 1 second. That's 1,000 ticks in a for 1 second. In here we're going to pretty much copy this. So this information here we're now going to, because this was got our ticker information from Binance, we know the ticker price, the symbol which is in our combo box, and we want to change the ticker text, and that should be enough that when we start this and run it, Here's our program. Let's pick up Bitcoin because it is quite fast moving, and once every now it's still not moving, and that will be because the timer isn't actually running. So let's have a look here. If we go back to our form, click on our timer, and you can see enabled equals false. We want the timer to actually start, but we want it to start really, I think, once we've actually changed the information in the combo box. That's probably our best time. So let's click on our combo box here. This is the code for our combo box, and what I'll do is ticker 1, which is the name of the ticker, enabled equals true. If we go back to here, timer 1, not ticker 1. So back into here, change that to timer 1, enabled equals true. That'll start the timer, and then the timer will tick once every second and update our ticker text. Let's have a go. And here's the program. Let's pick up Bitcoin because it does move quite a lot, and we should see, there you go, every second it's picking up the new time from the ticker and putting it up on the screen. So it's going to be quite easy for us from now on to be able to show the timer as it goes. We've got to tidy things up a little bit. I mean, we can do that by hiding this form ticker here. Let's do that. If we go into our properties, we can have visible equals false, so we're not even going to be able to see that. And when we change this, the next thing we do, form ticker dot visible, any of the properties that you switch off from one's on the screen, you can actually do from here, and we'll have enabled. That might make it even more clean. So here's our program. You see we haven't got our ticker showing at all, but once we click on something, there you go, it'll actually show it at that stage. And we can see that our timer is still running. So let's close that. The next thing we want is a couple of labels for the time. So let's for our alarm. So let's get a label here. Go up to label, and we'll put that here. And we'll change the text on it to high price. We'll do another one straight underneath it. Label. And we'll change the text of that to low price. So high price here, low price directly underneath it, and we need to be able to tell it what prices we want. In fact, I'm going to move that over a little bit because I think it'll look a little bit better if we got it over here. Okay, so we're going to use text boxes for this. So go down and find text box. There we go, and we're going to put in a little text box here, and then another one straight afterwards. There. We'll make sure that these are set properly. They look good. We can even close up our box a little bit. So the first thing we want to do is put a value inside of here. Okay, and probably the best idea is to be able to put a percentage value into it. All right, so we're going to change the names of these. So find the name. Here we go. I don't want to call it text box because I want to be able to use it inside the program nice and freely without having to think about what the name is. So I'm going to call this one a form because it's on the form, and I'll call it high price. So that text box is now called form high price, and the lower one, of course, I'm going to do the same. We could keep it as text box 2, but it'll start getting messy inside our program. We're not going to be able to understand exactly what's going on if we have to keep going back and trying to find what the form name is and what it does. So we're going to call that low price. So we'll go into our combo box. We want to set it with something first of all. So the first thing I'm going to do is form high price dot text, because the text which is inside. We've already got our information, so value form ticker dot text. So at the moment, form high price text, we could just leave it like this. Form high price text equals the value in form ticker text. Okay, but the problem is we want to be able to put a percentage in here. So what I'm going to do is plus val form ticker dot text divided by 100. So I've got 1% that I'm going to be showing on the screen. And if I do the same thing here for the low price, it gives us something we don't need to actually type in first of all. But if I put low price equals form ticker price minus form ticker price divided by 100. So that will give us approximately 1% on our high and low price as soon as we run it. Let's have a look. And if we now run this, as you can see, I made the box a little bit smaller. We pick up Bitcoin. There's our ticker price, and that's constantly moving because of the timer. And down here, it's already set for us the high price and a low price, which is 1% above. Now we can change this to whatever we want. I can change this 26,000. Sorry, 25,600. I can change this to 22,854, for instance, and 12 cents. And there you go, that's changed. So we've got all of our information coming in from there. It creates our ticker price for us and a high and low price, which is just a tester, so that we've got something to put in high and low price. And if you wanted to use this just to see whether a coin moved up by 1% or down by 1%, you wouldn't need to change these prices at all. However, we want to be able to do a little bit more with these prices. So the next thing that we want to do is tidy up our screen a little bit, because when we start our program, let's move it over here. When we start our program, before we put a pair to monitor, we've got this high, low price, everything written in there. Kind of don't want that. So what I'll do is we'll go back to form, and I think this is label 2 and this is label 3. Oops, don't need that. Sorry, double clicked. Well, I should have single clicked. Let's go back on here. Right, so we've got label 2, label 3, form high price, form low price. Oh, and I double clicked again. This is my mouse being a little bit too sensitive. That's okay, we want to come back into here anyway. So at this stage, we want label 2 dot visible equals true. Can't spell, of course. Then we want, let's copy that, paste that in a couple of times, because we want label 3. Then we want form high price to be visible, and we want form low price to be visible. And then we want to start our timer. So the next thing we want to do, go back into our form, and this we want to make invisible, and this one make invisible. So visible equals false, and then this one is visible equals false. This is down our properties, and low price visible equals false. So although we can see them here at the moment, when the program actually runs, we can't. So let's start this program. and bring the program into the screen, and you can see it's completely blank other than pair to monitor. So we choose our pair that we want to monitor, and not only does it now bring up the ticker price and constantly updates that ticker price, but it now shows us the high price and a 1% above the high price, then low price and 1% above the original ticker. And we can tidy this all up by formatting the text, but we won't worry about that at the moment. The reason is we've got different coins that we're using here, and it depends on what coins we're using, depends on what the values are, and also what Binance will bring back as how many decimal points or how many places after the decimal point it goes. But later on we can tidy this up quite nicely. So the next thing that we really need to do is put a start-stop button in, because at the moment we're not starting a timer, we're just telling it that there is a timer here working, and we want to set an alarm for it. So let's close that. The next thing we want to do is put a button, I think, a nice big button saying timer start stop. So in here we'll have start stop. Okay, that's in the text of the button. Press enter and there it shows. And now we can close this up so that looks nice and pretty as well. So now we've got a button that we can actually press to start the timer whenever we want. So what we want to do is go into that button there. So click the button. What do we want the button to do? Well, really we want it so that it will start and then it will stop for us. So we can press the same button for starting and stopping. In fact, on here I've told it to start stop. In fact, it should be really just start, because that's what we want to do first of all. Let's double click back in there. So we'll put a little bit in here. So if button 1, we haven't changed the name of it, and because it's a button, we know that it's on the form anyway, so we don't need to worry too much about that. If button 1 text equals, let's start off with stop. Whoops. Stop. Then, and we want to set a new name. We want the button to change name really, so we will have button 1 dot text equals, and remember we'll have start on there. We want to do the opposite if it says start, so else button 1 dot text equals stop, and we'll have an end if there at the end. Okay, so let's run that and see what happens. And if we run it, if we press start, it changes to stop. If it says stop, it changes to start. It's not doing anything more than that at the moment, okay, but this little piece of code here literally just changes the name on there, and we can use that name to be able to for the program to understand. It's a flip-flop really of whether the timer is running or the timer is not running. So let's go on from there. So once we've told it that it's done, we really want a variable that the program can use, although I could use the button name actually, so maybe we don't need a variable there. The next thing really would be back in the timer. Now we can go into the timer in a number of ways. We can just click timer here, or the whole of our code is actually listed here, so it's nice and easy to be able to just look down until you find the subroutine for timer. And we're going to change this this timer details here. So if button 1 dot text, because the text within button 1 equals stop, then what do we want to do if it's the timer's stopped. Let's have a think here. Button 1 equals stop. That means the timer is actually running. We're going to say if the value of form ticker dot text, which is the text in our ticker, okay, is greater than the value of form high price, then, and we'll beep. Nice and easy. Just beep the thing. Okay. End if. Actually, no, we can do else if value, and very, very similar. We do value form ticker dot text. So the value, the numeric value inside form ticker dot text is smaller than form low price dot text. And actually, I've just realized that the top one I've done wrong, because up here this should say dot text. Then, and we'll beep again as well, and end that if statement. Now I have got a bit of an issue here, that's greater than, so it should be greater or equals to, or lower than or equals to, so it's actually hit that price. Now the only thing is, this alarm is going to go on forever and ever. Let's put another end if in here. Okay, so just to close everything, so there's our start of our if statement, there's our end if, start our if statement, we've got else if, which is a continuation, and then end if there. So the only thing is that we've got a program now that will beep, and it will keep on beeping until we close the program or change the values within our form low price or form high price. So what I think we'll do is we'll have it beep just a number of times. So if I go up to the beginning here, this is where we've got our main global variables. I'm going to put another variable in here, and I'm going to put in dim alarm counter, and I'm going to set that as an integer. Integer is a type of number, and we'll start off with 5, so it's nice and easy. If we go back down here now to our timer, once we've beeped, so it's gone, we've either had our ticker is going to be higher or equals to our high price, or the ticker is actually lower or equal to the low price, then we want to change the way that make sure that the alarm doesn't just keep on going all the time. So we'll have alarm counter equals alarm counter minus 1. We'll do this straight after the beep. Alarm counter equals alarm counter minus 1. And we'll do the same thing here with the so we're doing it whether it's the high price is hit or whether the low price is hit. So if, else if, that, then end if. Yep, that's good. And I think the only thing is we need to find out that if the alarm counter reaches 0, so let's put this in, if alarm counter equals 0, so it's gone down 5 times. Okay, let's change it, put our end if in there nice and early. So if alarm counter equals that, then we want to change the button 1 dot text equals, and we'll put start, in effect stopping the program at that point. So now the alarm will completely stop when it reaches 0. So we want to do the same thing down here. So we'll copy that information there, and straight after the alarm counter has gone down, we'll put that down to there. Now the next thing that we really need to do is make sure that we reset this timer when the start button happens. So when we go to start here, we want to change that alarm counter equals 5. Actually, I'll put that in the wrong place, haven't I? That should be down here. So when if the button equals stop, which it won't be, click start. Is that the right way? If button equals stop, which means the timer's running, then click start. Or else if it says if we're starting it, put on time, and time counter equals 5. So it'll always reset this counter. We're starting off with the counter at 5, but then afterwards, every time we start this, so we don't really need to set this. In fact, we can just take that out, make the program a little bit smaller. So we've now got that. So let's run this program and see how we're doing. There's a build error, end of statement expected. This is on number 59. So let's find 59 down here. Probably not done an end if, I would have thought. 59, else if it's greater than low price text, then, so what's wrong here? So somehow I've deleted that little bit there. That's okay, and we'll start it. Maybe not deleted it, might not have even put it in. So now we can pick up our coin. It'll tell us, or our pair, it'll give us our ticker information. We've now got an alarm. Let's set this alarm, so 4880, and we'll set, of 4850. And hopefully once we start this, once it gets to that point, we'll have a couple of beeps, and then it'll settle down. So I change this to 75. Oh, it's obviously hit that at some stage. Hit it again. 2, 3, 4, 5. And this has gone back to start, and the timer's back off. So there you go. We've now got our complete timer. So let's change to another one. There's not going to be many which are going to be quite as fast, but if we go 1709 and we put this at 1705 and we set it off, and hopefully, in fact, I can change this interactively, so while the timer's going I can actually change these figures. So I change that to 6 there. So we're getting somewhere. If I change that to 80, I can now do 780. Whoops. Getting really close here. Normally you'd have these high prices and low prices distances apart, so it makes life nice and easy for you. 99 down there on 6. We can now change this to 40. And there we go, we've hit it. So we've gone down under the 1706.99 and the alarm has gone off. Now the only thing is we don't know what alarm has gone off or why. And I think that's the next thing that we really need to do here. So what we'll do is high price or low price, whichever one it hits, we kind of want to know what's happened at that stage. So we'll stop this, and in our timer, if it reaches 0 here, okay, we're going to change the button 1 to that, and then we're going to change the background of high price dot back color, equals VB color, and because it's the high price, we'll put red. We'll put red on any of them anyway. It's not VB color, it's color, I believe, actually. Color red. So if it's the high price that hits, it'll go color red. If it's the low price, copy and paste that in there. Low price, color red. So now we know which one has actually been hit. All right. And what I'll do there is I'm going to copy that whole thing when we start off our timer. So we pressed click on here. Background color will be our normal background color. Now we should be able to do that. I think that's just white. It could be a grey. Let's have a look. We click on there. Background color. It's called window. Okay, that's a strange name, but let's have a look, see whether it'll understand it. And it does. No, it doesn't. So we'll just put it as white. Okay. So now, if we start our program, oh, we've got an error here because I can see there's a typo. Okay, have we got that typo anywhere else? Don't think so. Let's start it off. Let's choose our thing. We'll use Bitcoin because it's fast moving. We will set a timer, 24,880 and 24,860, and we'll start it off. Now it's started. Let's see where we go. We'll have to wait for a few seconds, I'm sure. Getting low. Oh, I should have done that as 70. Well, actually I can do that as 72 and it will still go off. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and there you go. It's gone on to 5. This has turned red. If we change this value now to 60 and we'll start it off again, it'll go back to white. The only other thing that I would like to do on this program, and see where, oh, it's going again. But anyway, the only other thing that I want to do on here is on the form. It's a good idea to have this on the screen all the time. So we'll have topmost is false, so we can change that to true. I'm also going to change the boxes at the top, so we can't have a minimized box or a maximum box. Okay, so we've just got to close there. Is there anything else? We can lock it. That's fine. I think that for our first bit of programming, that'll do. So as you can see, I've got this on debug mode. I can also do a release mode and make a build of it. And now I've got one that I can actually run. If we go into my program here, we can see in the binaries, we've got now a release mode, and this program here, I can run at any time. There you go. I can put that on the desktop and set myself nice little alarms, which will go off, and later on we can expand on this. We can have different alarms for different coins. We can add lots more coins to our pairs. Remember on our combo box, we'll be able to pick up the last price, for instance, that the ticker's done, and then have the ticker price going green or red, depending on whether it's going higher or whether it's going lower. So it gives you a visual on whether the coin's actually pumping at the time or going down. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a simple little program. It may not seem simple, but I hope you find it very, very useful. You can put this on your desktop and use it all the time. We We will be doing more complex programs as time goes on, but a timer, not a timer, an alarm going off for a particular coin is a very useful thing. I literally use these every single day. I've expanded on my one, which we will do over a period of time with this one, I'm sure. We can have multiple pairs that we're doing timers for. We can change the alarm so that the alarm is a different tone, or even a song comes up if a certain coin comes to a certain level, etc. But it gives you something to keep an eye on, so you don't need to be looking at your screen all the time to see the whether your particular coin is reaching a certain level. You can set this, walk off. It's a good idea to have different timers have different alarm numbers as well. So if it hits a high level, the it'll beep 5 times. If it's a low level, it'll only be 3 times. You can put all the beeps together rather than having them spaced out. At the moment, if it hits a particular figure, it will start the beeping. Okay, but if it moves out from that zone, the beeping will stop until it goes back in. You can tidy that up a little bit so that it'll beep automatically when it hits a level, or that it'll restart the timer if it comes out of that level. There's so many things you can do. Anyway, my name's Fred. I am the Crypto Cornishman, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, like and subscribe, because there will be a lot more. Plus, there'll be my daily updates, which I'll try and do every day. I am away a couple of times, but we'll go from there. Anyway, bye for now.